tell me about your mission at sea and your experience while you were imprisoned in Israel?
Over the course of a month, we sailed across the Mediterranean, gathering fleets from Spain and Tunisia, from Italy and from Greece, to build an unprecedented direct action, larger than the sum of all the previous attempts to break this illegal siege of Gaza and to deliver critical humanitarian aid. So last Wednesday, on the eve of Yom Kippur, a very important Jewish holiday in the calendar, we were violently and illegally abducted by Israeli naval forces, and they jammed our communications, smashed our CCTVs so that no one would see what they were doing under the cover of darkness, which was kidnapping us and stealing our boats and belongings and taking us to the port of Ashdod, where we were paraded around as terrorists before the government of the State of Israel, who proceeded to strip search and zip tie and blindfold and disappear us into the middle of the desert, south of Gaza, on the Egyptian border of Israel, the largest detention camp in Israel, 400,000 square meters of barbed wire and solitary confinement dungeons and cell blocks, where we would be kept for days and days without any information about our health and conditions, about our access to legal representation, without any ability to speak to the outside world.
Recently, Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a ceasefire deal. Do you think the international support for Palestine and campaigns like the Global Summit Flotilla played a role?
I think that there is no doubt that the evolution of public opinion in the world and the role of initiatives like our flotilla, but many others that have been led by social movements and trade unions in solidarity with Palestine, have set stronger conditions, I think, for the renegotiation of the terms of the relationship between Israel and Palestine. It has pushed the State of Israel and the international community into a more constructive position, basic Palestinian rights.
The U.S. has been a major ally of Israel and also aid supplier of Israel. What do you think of the U.S. role in exacerbating the crisis in Gaza over the past 2 years and beyond?
I think the United States' complicity needs to be situated in a broader story of the United States as a guarantor of Israeli defense and security prowess in the Middle East for decades. I think that once we reconceive of this relationship as being one of basically, one and the same, an extension of the United States, an extension of its own imperial project, that helps us resolve a lot of questions. This administration in particular is advancing with a radically novel, toxic and dangerous interpretation of international law that basically considers it to be irrelevant, antiquated, and not pertinent to its own political behavior. What the Trump administration has demonstrated is not just a disregard for certain rules that are supposed to protect the international community. The Trump administration has instead elevated and advanced a new logic, a mobster logic. You can just do whatever you want to do, whatever isn't within your power. It's obviously an incredibly dangerous philosophy for the United States and those of us who are its citizens, because it puts us all at risk.
How do you analyze the trajectory of the crisis and the future of Palestine?
The geopolitics are all very important, but the basic life and livelihood is always first. First, we have to create the conditions that are favorable to Palestinians living a normal life, moving into a stable home, not living in tents. And then we have to think in terms of, okay, what does it look like for a just and lasting peace for the people of Palestine? The people of Palestine have a right to self-determination. This is a basic principle of decolonization that comes out of, a century, 2 centuries of struggle from oppressed peoples across the world. This is not a controversial one. It's one that's built into the UN Charter. It's one that's built into every framework for decolonization in international law. We need to speak out loudly in condemnation of those colonial elements that seek to strip and rob the people of Palestine of their fundamental connection to the international legal frameworks that are supposed to protect the most vulnerable, marginalized, and oppressed peoples of the world.